My name is Jeremy Whalen. I am currently a medical affairs executive director for Genentech. Being an oncology pharmacist within industry has really been kind of eye-opening for me. One of the things that I think was really interesting is how many different roles are available for pharmacists and especially oncology pharmacy within industry. So typically we think of the MSL. And many oncology pharmacists are MSLs, and that's really a great role that highlights the skill sets that we have in order to deliver care to the health system, whether that is providers doing education or doing clinical trial setups or monitoring within that. But then there's a whole host of other roles that are available to oncology pharmacists, whether that is medical directors within a specific therapeutic area and helping develop a plan for either a new molecular entity or an existing product for that life cycle of evidence that we want to do. There's HEOR opportunities, there's leadership opportunities, but then even on the commercial side, I've seen oncology pharmacists really excel. The care of an oncology patient is a team sport. It's not just a physician, it's not just a nurse, and it's not just a pharmacist, but it's all of us together, and we all bring forth knowledge that enhances the care, right? As we say in HOPA, every oncology patient should have an oncology pharmacist as part of their care. And I think when we now interface out into other organizations, whether that's industry, your own health system jobs, that component needs to still be a philosophy there. So as an industry, I take that in with me as a message saying, if we're doing an ad board, or if we're doing an education service, or if we're looking for speakers, or we just want better insights, that we need to be looking at that whole medical team that cares for the oncology patients. Because what we find from MDs is very valuable. What we hear from nurses is as well. But selfishly, I also think what an oncology pharmacist brings to the table and their insights even enhance the care and the management of an oncology patient more so than if we miss it. One of the things that has really benefited me as my journey has been really kind of non-traditional is always kind of reaching out, making connections and building relationships. And HOPA has actually been a great point for me in doing that within the oncology pharmacy network, as it really is. Oncology pharmacy is a small network, but then even smaller once you start to look outside of what we think of as traditional oncology pharmacy. And so leaning in and trying to understand what those different career opportunities are have really been an advantage point for me. When I was an oncology pharmacist, and especially in the specialty dispensing pharmacy side, the last place I thought I'd ever end up was in a PBM. But then getting that opportunity allowed me to kind of learn and lean into that. And I really almost used that as a fellowship opportunity to learn everything I could about managed care, because it's a definitive piece of what our healthcare looks like within the United States. So the more opportunity I had to grow my knowledge about the whole healthcare system only really helped me into future opportunities and decisions that I was making. And I really believe without having the ability of doing the residency, becoming board certified, having leadership positions within that health system, but then also working within managed care, all of those put together are the reasons why I was able to be a good candidate and get this role at Genentech that now oversees really kind of a medical strategy, if you will, for a part of the US. So they still are looking towards, physicians and oncologists as their thought leaders, but there's numerous opportunities and I think points where we can point at where oncology pharmacists are the point of contact, the gatekeeper, and really the decision makers in a lot of the care that happens within the oncology clinic and to those patients that are receiving those services. Whether we're building order sets, whether we're P&T, whether we're just directors of oncology pharmacy and setting out what those pathways look like, and then all the guidance and education that we're giving to the partners within that field, whether they're oncology nurses or the oncologists or APPs. And so really one of the things is leveraging our skill sets and educating up through industry channels. So oncology pharmacists have the opportunities to be on ad boards, to share that knowledge, but then also perhaps be a PI on some of these studies, especially if they're around symptom management or education around patients, or if they're a non-interventional study. I think oncology pharmacists have demonstrated the capability to really own, lead, and really deliver on a lot of those opportunities. Through my career, HOPA has always been really a foundational component to my involvement in oncology pharmacy, right? It is the organization that I've always called my home. And I dedicated a lot of time, whether I was on programming committees or even while I was on the board of HOPA. So making that transition was something I was really worried that I was going to lose essentially my oncology pharmacy family. And there actually ended up being less barriers than I anticipated, and a lot of opportunities still existed. There are some caveats around, not having a perceived bias when developing educational opportunities for other oncology pharmacies. So steering clear of those, there's still a whole other host of activities that I can be involved in. Since I've joined industry, I've had stints on the membership committee and now also on public policy. But I think there's opportunities within a lot of the other committees that exist and task force that are happening, especially as we think of those that are just improving the work and quality and recognition of an oncology pharmacist. So think about some of the task force around DE&I or even just HOPA ambassadors. But another one is within the IRC or Industry Relations Council. Though you probably can't sit on the council, but being involved on the organizational side as an interface back into HOPA is really important. And then taking those learnings and those engagements to then be a champion of HOPA and the role an oncology pharmacist can play back and through your own organization.